Military aviation operates on the edge of performance, where even the smallest failure can be catastrophic. In this video, we'll examine 5 real helicopter incidents, all captured on camera. Each one tells a different story. Sudden mechanical failures, in-flight fires, and crashes that left crews with only seconds to react. Some of these cases ended in survival against all odds. Others became tragedies that shook entire units. And in each, the raw footage reveals the unforgiving reality of what can happen when something goes wrong in the air. August 2nd, 2015. Dubrovichi Range, Ryazan region, Russia. It's a clear summer day at the Aviadarts airshow. The Russian Air Force's Berkut's aerobatic team is in the air with their Mi-28N Night Hunter attack helicopters, performing a synchronized routine for the crowd. During one of the maneuvers, a helicopter suddenly swings sharply to the left. The tail begins spinning uncontrollably, the classic sign of a tail rotor failure. Without it, the pilot cannot counter the torque from the main rotor. The aircraft starts rotating as it drops rapidly toward the ground. The pilot keeps the nose from pitching forward, but there is no way to stop the descent. Just seconds later, the Mi-28 comes down hard, belly first. The impact is violent. The landing gear is crushed instantly, and a burst of flame erupts from the rear section, followed by thick, black smoke. Rescue crews rush toward the wreck. One of the pilots, Senior Lieutenant Alexander Kletinov, climbs out of the burning cockpit on his own. Despite his injuries, he is fully conscious and moves away from the flames. His commander, Colonel Igor Butenko, is killed in the crash. The Ministry of Defense later confirms the cause, a failure in the tail rotor control system linked to a hydraulic malfunction. Following the incident, all Mi-28 flights across Russia were suspended until inspections were complete. In front of thousands of spectators, the Berkuts lost one of their own, a moment that showed how a single mechanical failure can turn a display flight into a fatal disaster within seconds. September 20th, 1989. Tuckerton, New Jersey, USA. A U.S.-registered Messerschmitt Volkov Blohm BO-105 helicopter, tail number N5353V, is performing a low-level aerobatic display. The twin-engine light helicopter begins a steep climbing turn, banking hard, over 90 degrees, as it arcs upward in front of the spectators. At barely 75 feet above the ground, the pilot starts to pull out of the maneuver, but the correction comes too late. With such little altitude, the helicopter cannot recover. The BO-105 drops almost flat onto its belly. The moment it hits, the impact shatters the rotor system, and a massive fireball erupts. Pieces of the helicopter scatter across the ground as flames engulf the wreckage. A thick column of black smoke rises into the air within seconds. Emergency crews rush in, but it's already too late. The pilot, the only person on board, is killed instantly. The official NTSB investigation found no engine or mechanical failure. The cause was pilot error, a delayed pull-up from a steep aerobatic turn at extremely low altitude. In helicopter aerobatics, a single second's delay can make recovery impossible, turning a precision maneuver into a fatal crash. March 1999. Off the coast of California, aboard the amphibious assault ship USS Bonhomme Richard, LHD-6, you're inside a U.S. Navy CH-46C night transport helicopter, watching as it lifts off from the flight deck. The tandem rotors are at full power, the deck falls away, and then, without warning, flames erupt in the aft section. A burst of fire and thick smoke push forward into the fuselage. In seconds, the cabin fills with heat and choking haze. This is no simulated drill. It's a real in-flight emergency, unfolding right in front of the passengers and crew. The cause, later confirmed by the Navy, was a broken hydraulic line in the transmission system. Pressurized fluid sprayed directly into the aft generator, igniting instantly. With the fire spreading and the cabin filling with smoke, the pilots act fast, settling the Sea Knight back onto the flight deck within moments. As the rotors slow, crew members open hatches and begin evacuating everyone on board. 2 people suffer smoke inhalation, but there are no fatalities. Fire crews rush in, dousing the flames before they can reach the fuel tanks. This incident was part of a long history of hydraulic system failures in the Sea Knight fleet, and a stark reminder of how quickly a routine takeoff can turn into a life-threatening emergency. A helicopter is flying low over an open, grassy field. Everything seems routine, until disaster strikes. In a split second, the tail boom separates from the fuselage. With the tail rotor gone, the helicopter instantly loses all anti-torque control. The nose yaws violently, rotation accelerates, and the aircraft begins to spin uncontrollably. At this altitude, there is no time to recover. Just seconds later, the helicopter slams belly first into the ground. The impact ruptures fuel lines, and fire engulfs the wreckage almost immediately. The footage leaves little doubt about the mechanical failure. The tail section is clearly gone before impact. The cause of the separation remains unknown. Some have speculated about possible hostile fire, but in this video, there is no conclusive evidence to support that claim. Despite an extensive search, we have not been able to confirm where or when this incident happened, or the type of helicopter involved. If you recognize this footage, know the location, the date, or have any details about the crew and the circumstances, please share them in the comments. Your information could help identify this crash and preserve its history accurately. March 19th, 2023. Quibdó, Chocó Department, Colombia. A Colombian Army Bell UH-1N twin Huey, tail number EJC-4227, was on a supply mission for Joint Task Force Titan when disaster struck. Flying over the city of Quibdó, the helicopter suddenly began spinning out of control. Within seconds, it dropped into a grassy urban area in the Niño Jesus neighborhood, bursting into flames on impact. All 4 soldiers on board were killed: Captain Hector Mauricio Jerez, Lieutenant Juliet Garcia, the first female Huey pilot in the Colombian Army, and Sergeants Johan Orozco and Ruben Leguizamon. No one on the ground was injured, and officials say the crew steered the helicopter away from populated areas in their final moments. In the hours after the crash, President Gustavo Petro confirmed the fatalities and ordered a full investigation. The Army's initial statements said the cause was under investigation. Early reports from Colombian media and eyewitness video suggest a possible tail rotor malfunction, with some accounts describing the tail rotor assembly detaching before impact. As of the latest updates, the official cause has not been finalized. The leading technical version under review is a mechanical failure in the tail rotor system, which would explain the sudden loss of anti-torque control seen in the footage. If you have credible information about the final investigation results or access to the official report, share it. Preserving the facts of this tragedy matters. These 5 incidents remind us that military flight is never routine. Every takeoff carries risks that no amount of training or experience can fully eliminate. For the crews, the difference between a safe landing and disaster can be measured in seconds, or in the failure of a single component. If you have credible information about any of these events, especially the ones where details remain unknown, share it in the comments. Together, we can preserve the facts and the lessons learned from these tragedies. And remember, behind every frame of these videos are real people, real lives, and real stories that deserve to be told accurately.